Hello everybody and welcome to my video, Getting Tidier. I hope you're all well and I hope you've had a good start to the week. Now I'll be honest, while thinking about doing this video and doing the voiceover, I've really started to think that I can't keep going at the same momentum as I have been going. I'm really struggling in terms of keeping my hours at work. Doing the most important thing, which is making sure my daughter's okay and being a mum and being available when she's at home, and also trying to keep on top of the house. And I think it's just a case of I can't do all of the things properly. As you know, I've been trying to do my 30-minute walk. I feel like everything is this massive juggle. My primary job number one, as I call it, my hours increased, as you know, from January to April, and I'm really beginning to wish that I had said no to that. I am managing the hours and I'm doing everything that I need to within that job, but my second job, my contract's actually annual. So there's a set number of hours, something like 700 and something hours that I've got to do over the year. And during the holidays, I'm not doing the hours that I need to do. So it's all become a bit of a juggle, because then when it's not the holidays, I've got to try and catch up, which is proving difficult to say the least. And it does feel that every time I get one room sorted, there's something else that's added to it. I mean, I haven't helped myself with the lounge by bringing the Lego down, but I wanted to bring all the Lego down so we could sit together and try to get through some of it. But now we've got piles of Lego. My husband's been sorting out some stuff to the receipts I was going to say help me, but it's not to help me because it's for both of us. So he's taken on that as one less thing that I need to do, but that's meant the receipts are spread over the entire floor. And then I've also got that big pile of books that I brought downstairs that need to go into the bookshelf. But there's no space in the bookshelf. There's so many books in the bookshelf that the books are on top of the bookshelf, piled up, which you can't always see when I set my camera at a certain angle, but you probably have seen them over the course of the last year. I've got loads of books piled on top of the bookcase. I've got all the glasses out on the mantelpiece. So I just need my husband just to check through them. Some of them are his, like the beer festival glasses are his that he might want to keep. So yeah, I feel I'm running round in circles and I'm juggling probably too much. And then as I said, when I looked at my diary and I thought I want to go out on my 30-minute walk, and I thought, when am I going to do that today? Because if I don't go out during the daytime, I can't go out in the evening because I'm due to be working again. And after my experience of that man sitting on the floor, I really don't want to go out in the evening again. I did go out last night for a 30-minute walk, and I timed myself exactly 30 minutes. But I much prefer to go out in the daylight. And then my work to do with job number 3, I've had a few things all sort of happen that are problematic at the same time. So I was contacted because a shower is not working. I had that issue with the man who didn't seem to understand what I was asking. So there's various things to sort out as a result of that. Part of the work he couldn't finish because I need a builder. But I've contacted a builder who said that he's going to give me a price. He didn't then reply, so I've chased him up again, and he's still, yes, I'll do that. I still haven't heard back, so then I try to then find a different builder. All of these things take time, don't they? I think it's just about being realistic that you can only do so much. So if I don't get quite as much done in the house as what I would like to, I'm just going to have to accept that I can't be in 3 places at the same time. So tomorrow I'm working, but predominantly I'll be at home. Got the dentist appointment first thing in the morning, and then I'm going to be at home working. And then in the evening I've got guides. And as it's Chinese New Year, I suggested that we made a sweet and sour chicken. I'm going to use my husband's recipe, because that's suitable for all the girls that have got allergies. And then I've organised for a lady to come in who was born in China and has come over. And so she's going to tell the girls how to say a few words and hopefully write the girls' names for them. I never quite know what language it is. Mandarin. There's a few different languages, isn't there, that Chinese people speak. So I've organised that. So I've planned the evening. The lady who I do guides with is going to get the ingredients. So that's good. And then Thursday I'm working all day and working in the evening. And Friday I'm working all day and working in the evening. And then Saturday, my husband's going to like a tour to look round like a beer kind of brewery place with his dad. That's somewhere in Suffolk. So my husband's going to go out to his parents and then my mother-in-law is going to drive them. And that I was asked whether I would like to go there for the day. So me and my daughter could spend the day with my mother-in-law. The thing is, where the location is, there's not really that much going on out of season. And so sort of to walk around all day, there's not really that much to do. And my mother-in-law would be quite keen to get lunch somewhere. And I sort of think, oh, I'm going to have the whole hassle of whether they actually can provide food for my daughter. She said, oh, she's going to get some chips and have some fish and chips sitting down somewhere. But the fish won't be suitable. There's no foods that'll be suitable. The chips may not even be suitable, depending upon what oil they're cooked in. So I think me and my daughter will just have a day doing the things that we want to do. So might spend some time doing some craft, might have a little look up the city, depending upon what my daughter would like to do. And then the next day, Sunday, she'll probably do a bit of homework, and I haven't got anything planned. But we are getting ready because in a couple of weeks we are going up to Durham. And so I'm organising a few things to book in to ensure that I'm meeting different people on Saturday and Sunday that we're up there. I did also, after I'd worked a couple of hours this morning, I did pop out to church because I found out that they do like a little chapel service. Well, I thought it was little. And there's somebody that I wanted to go and speak to someone to get somebody's advice in the family getting married. And I need to seek guidance and advice on what the best thing is for me to do. Because if I don't go, there's problems. But if I do go, there's problems. So I thought, oh, that'd be quite nice. I could go and have a conversation with somebody after the chapel service. Because obviously I'm working, I can't sit for the whole service. So I got there, the car park is absolutely chock-a-block at the little chapel service. And I went in, she said, oh yes, the service is still on. She said, you can pop in for the end part of it if you want. So I thought that's a good idea. So I went in, sat right at the back. I sat for it was only 10 minutes at the end. So I heard the last kind of summary as to what the man was saying. But there was no way I'd have been able to find somebody to talk to. So I don't quite know how that works. That's the only thing, because it is such a big church, it's quite difficult to get to know people, build connections and have that same relationship that you might have with the vicar of the church which is closer to me, where somebody that could actually get to know you and you could get to know them and then you could ask their views about something. So I don't know. I might try again next week and see if there's somebody that's about. So you can see in the video, I thought that I was so good getting all the Christmas things back into the Christmas cupboard, but in reality, there have been a few other things that I found, along with all the tracks. You know the train track that we put up in the dining room for Christmas, and I told you about how my husband had thought that was going to stay all year round. When I said that to my mum, she said, oh, that's what I thought. I thought, my goodness, I didn't want that up for the whole year. Anyway, so my husband took all that down and packed all the train track away, and the train track has been sitting upstairs on the stairs. So I needed to get that back into the cupboard. And then also there's lots of things that I need to put away. So I have got a few white duvets and over the course of the last few years I've asked for a couple more, but I'm not going to buy any more bed linen until the bed linen that I'm using is past it and has gone for rags, because I can't fit the things in. And with this container method that a number of you have told me about, that really does make sense. So I've got 2 containers for bed linen. I've got the ottoman there underneath the giraffe that you can see, and I've got the little white box sort of container which is in the corner near the cupboard on the other side of the room. And once they're full, I've got nowhere else for bed linen. So I need to ensure that I can get everything within those 2 containers. And if not, then I need to get rid of some more, or I need to move things around in some way. What I had realised in the ottoman, and that made me laugh because somebody's story about this, where they wrote on a comment about how they were really scared because the lid of their ottoman, or the lid of their kind of container, whatever it was, they were sitting in bed and that suddenly started lifting up. And it was one of their space saver bags re-inflating. That's what had happened to me. One of the bags in there had completely, I'd got all the air out of it and it fitted in there really nicely, and it's all re-inflated. So I took the air out and squeezed it back into the ottoman. In terms of us all being flat surface coverers, you can see all the stuff on that table. I don't like that table, I don't want that table, and I don't want most of the things that are on the table. But I've got to convince other people in the house of that as well. I did suggest that this little table went out into the man cave. That didn't look like that suggestion went down very well. But we've not got the space in our bedroom for this table. So I really would like to get rid of it. So at the end of December and the beginning of January, I mentioned about how I've got different targets for different rooms in the house. So the target for this room is really just to get back to how it used to be. I would actually say it used to be one of the tidiest rooms. It was lovely. That was when we first kind of did the loft conversion. It was all clear, not many pieces of furniture, not many things, bits and pieces sitting around. And over time, it's just become more and more cluttered. I think what happens is things get left in this room in error. Things get brought into this room and then don't get taken down. So we end up with toys and things in the room. But really, I felt like what I should do is get a big bin bag and just sweep everything from the bin bag, from the table into the bin bag. I've got piles and piles of leads on the floor. Now, I would think that we've got 3 bags in the shed full of leads. And I say to my husband, can I put these in the bin? And he says, oh no, we might need them. And the difficulty I have in sorting them is I have absolutely no clue what the leads are actually for. So I can't go through and decide whether some of the devices we don't have anymore because they're for old telephones or old items. Because I've got absolutely no idea what they're for. You can see the ottoman, how packed it is, but part of the problem was definitely those bags. So once I squashed those bags down, I managed to get a bit more into the ottoman. So I'm going to go through some of your comments now. So thank you very, very much for those of you that take time to add comments. I love reading your comments and ideas and suggestions. I feel like I've actually got a whole community of people that can give me really good advice. Many of you have already gone through this process. You've kind of seen it, done it. You're wearing the t-shirt. So you've suggested a lot of good ideas in terms of decluttering and tidying and introducing kind of different systems and methods to my routines. So the first comment is from Cynthia Miller, and Cynthia says, Dear Emma, hooray! The prayer card you sent me arrived in the mail yesterday. I'm thrilled and will treasure it. I've never had anything like it before. Thank you so much for offering it and for the effort you put into sending it. I was also blessed to be able to actually see you addressing the envelopes and writing the accompanying notes. Absolutely, I'm glad you saw that, Cynthia, at the end of one of my videos. It shows that you watched to the end. Thank you very much. I'm glad that you got it and I'm glad that you like it. I was so pleased to be able to send it to you. Paper Playground says your daughter was right to get you when she felt wary. I think our subconscious picks up on clues or items our brains don't always immediately recognise as danger. Tell your daughter to always listen to that intuition and remove herself if she ever feels unsafe. Now, that is a very, very good point, and I am going to mention that to my daughter. I'm going to say, you know, the other week when we had that situation, you know, well done for being wary, because sometimes your gut does tell you the reason to be wary, and you can sometimes have that gut feeling towards a person or towards a situation. So thank you for commenting about that. I'm going to mention that to her. I think that over the decades, we have been, society actively encourages us to ignore that. You know that, what was it, the sixth sense? You know, that additional sense that you have. You know that feeling where you can feel like somebody's watching you, and you look and you realise that somebody actually is watching you. That feeling of presence is interesting, because when I was doing my university degree, one of my lecturers was doing research on extrasensory perception, and he asked for volunteers, and you had to focus on a certain item, and then the person then had to guess it. Reminds me of when I was a little girl. I used to play this game with my dad, when my dad would concentrate on a certain colour, and I had to work out the colour that he was thinking of, and vice versa. And as a child, I was that must have been statistically significant, because I was incredibly good at that. I think there is something that we don't understand. Paper Playground goes on to say, even if you're almost always wrong, it only takes one time of ignoring those feelings to be in trouble. Lovely video. Blessings from Texas. Thank you. Katrina Valles says, good morning from Australia. It's Australia Day here, the day Captain Cook arrived in Sydney. I didn't know that. Joanne says, hi Emma from New Jersey. I've been married for 43 years and my husband could care less about answering the phone. I think he feels confident that I can always take care of myself. Unfortunately, sometimes I just need him. I answer mine 99% of the time. Sure wish I could figure out how to make it important to him. I've drilled it in my son's head that he always answers when his fiancée calls. He seems to be more concerned about her safety, and I'm glad for that. And I replied back to Joanne to say that New Jersey is where my family are. And just to say I don't understand it. My husband never has the volume on his phone, and he never calls anybody back. I just don't understand it. Lisa says, I enjoy your videos. You have made so much progress and your house is looking cosy. Thank you very much. Louise Tilbrook says, I found a Charles and Diana Remembrance collector's coin when I packed up Mum's videos. I'm giving it to my best friend as she loves the royals. Wow. Karen Howard. Hi Karen, hope you're well. Karen says, in guiding in Canada, we raise an arm for silence. As soon as each person notices it, and it takes less than 30 seconds for everyone to be quiet. Smile. My undergraduate degree was in 1987 and I still use a daily dated mug I received for your nephew. Have been eating my freezer bare this January, which means grocery costs are down by 65% plus. Could it be that your plasterer is illiterate? My friend's daughter spent a year of her vet programme in France as part of her Canadian degree. I love Not My Monkey quote and use it often. I just love your videos and so appreciative of your family's support in getting tidier. Hope you have noticed significant increase in peaceful environment at home. So I replied and said that's what we used to do at guiding, but when the group got so much bigger it wasn't effective. So we went up to 30 girls and it just did not work. I did comment about the being able to study in Lyon in France, and I said what an amazing opportunity, but unfortunately things are now so much harder for us because of Brexit. And I think that my plasterer struggles. He is English, but he just seems to struggle to understand English and write English. That's all I can think, really. So Karen said, do you have units or teams in guiding? Make the noisy ones leaders or seconders in the unit so they have to live up to the leadership role, maybe. That's an idea. My mum Did a lot of distraction management of us. Divide and conquer. Ha ha. Oh, that's nice. Four girls. Karen's got 3 sisters. So you can see in the video that I'm putting some of my washing away, and what I'm trying to do is take smaller piles upstairs and put them away quicker. So rather than leaving them in a pile downstairs, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. As soon as they're dry, I'm taking them upstairs. That's the plan anyway. So I took a little pile up. Actually, after this pile, I had another little pile that was dry. You'll see further on in the video. And there was like a few things of my daughter's. I came straight upstairs, put them away, and then brought our things upstairs. So that's the theory. You can see these drawers are absolutely chocker. But for those of you that haven't seen any of my previous videos will know all of these clothes are the clothes that I'm wearing on a regular basis. So this is my clothing storage. So when we laugh and say about Diane in Denmark, who's got this massive great closet, as Americans might call it, massive great walk-in wardrobe full of jackets, my storage is under the bed. If I've got something smart or something for work or something a bit more like going out in the evening, I have got some clothes in my old bedroom in the wardrobe, and I've got a chest of drawers in there. But what I tend to use the chest of drawers for in my old bedroom is moving all the summer things down. So summer things go down there, and then when it's summer I try to alternate them all. What I did do the other day in our bedroom was there was about 8 pairs of shorts in my husband's drawers. So I took all the shorts out and I took them downstairs, which I need to still put them away. Unfortunately though, that drawer on the left has broke again. So that's something else that I need to sort out. So next comment from Anne 6052. Anne says, "Hi Emma, we are grieving for the loss of our 14-year-old border collie." Oh, that's sad. 14 years is a good age, but how sad all that time you've had him or her. Your story about the tradesman made me smile. Thank you for cheering me up. I'm glad that cheered you up. That caused me quite a dilemma, because I felt like I had so much confrontation in the space of a week. But whereas I perceived it as confrontation, it seemed that he was just absolutely used to this. So I imagine that every single job, there's something that he slightly misunderstands and doesn't quite do as is expected. So he's obviously quite used to it. Anne says, regarding your nephew's present, how about an experience that would make a good memory rather than more things to clutter up the house? Yes, a good idea. Karen Davis says, Emma, walking is great exercise and will help to rev up your metabolism. Do your clothes feel looser? Your jeans look looser. No, my clothes don't feel any different. And the jeans that I was wearing, that's because they're a size bigger, unfortunately. So yes, they are spacious because they're much bigger. Debbie Larkin says, hi Emma, I hope you're well. Sandy says, hi Emma, I hope you're all doing well. I'm trying to fight off the flu in our house. 2 are sick and myself and the other one are still well, hoping to keep it that way. Keep up the good work you've got going now. So Sandy, I hope you've managed to keep the lurg away. Do you remember a few weeks ago and I said about how my husband was full of cold and I just got a sore throat, and thankfully I had a sore throat for 2 days and then it went. My daughter had her glands come up and she went to the nurse at school and checked with the nurse, and I got a phone call to say, oh, her glands are up, and her glands were up for a couple of days and then they went down. And she did not have any symptoms, so I thought that was really good that her body was obviously fighting the lurg and got her better, which I told her is because she eats so much broccoli. So she was pleased about that. Rainy Milliman says, because you had your live on a Saturday, I was able to join in. I always forget on Friday. I think because I'm doing food prep, bringing the garbage bin, doing the cat treats, doing dishes. I wanted to suggest to the lady who commented that she would like to exercise more, but had to be careful of her heart, that maybe chair yoga would be an option. I'm going to look into it myself, as I have osteoarthritis in my knees and degenerative discs in my back. So I want to try and strengthen my legs and core muscles so that I can do more walking with confidence. Yes, that will help you if you build up the muscles. Is that painful, the problem with your back, Rainey? When I read a review by a lady who was in a wheelchair and she said she could do the moves and was feeling stronger, I thought maybe this is a good option for me to start building up the strength in my legs. She can walk but not far and still wants to strengthen her legs and of course her upper body strength. I've cut way back on the caffeine. I only drink 1 cup of green tea, so a little bit of caffeine, a day, and I'm drinking caffeine-free soda and I've got to every other day. Maybe I will manage to get to 1 a week like you. So with your soda, it's caffeine free, but is it full of sugar or sugar replacements? If it's full of sugar and sugar replacements, then you've done very, very well to cut it down. Because my personal view is sugar and sugar replacements are worse than caffeine. But hey ho, I'm sure there's research into that. I do drink a lot more water. That's good. The last few weeks, so that got me cutting back on the soda intake somewhat. Oh, well done. On the weekends, we eat a bit of a larger breakfast than during the week, and then only eat 1 other meal later in the afternoon. I decided that I should see if I could do this during the week also, as I do sometimes skip lunch anyhow. I find that I appreciate enjoying my second meal, and I even make a point of slowing down what I eat so that I don't overdo since I might be a bit hungrier. I don't eat a large breakfast during the week, but it still seems to be okay, and I don't find myself wanting a snack or anything. Staying busy helps. You do certainly sound busy, Rainey, with the various things that you're dealing with and juggling. Yeah, I think it's good. The more water you drink, then you're then less likely to think about food and also think about the soda, which is good. And you've made me think on a Sunday I need to be careful. When I have brunch at like 11 and then I have dinner in the evening, I need to make sure that I don't eat too much food. Although I've got to say, this Sunday I felt really hungry. We had chicken wraps and I had 3 wraps, and I had to go and get something at about 9:30, which is really unlike me, as you know, to eat late in the day like that. But I had to because my stomach was hurting and I thought, I don't know how I'm going to get to sleep. My World said, hi from Alabama. I'm a new viewer and I love your channel. Thank you. I think we've now got 2 followers from Alabama. I love that song. Every time I see the name Alabama, I want to sing that song. I won't sing it to you because I sang it before. Gardenia says, hello from Saskatchewan, Canada. Wow, that sounds Swiss German. We just came through a couple of weeks of extreme cold. It was -30 Celsius, but can get down to -45 in January. Now it's about -10, which we consider warm in the winter. I very much enjoy watching as you declutter. As a minimalist, I can't wait to see an entire room cleaned out, and then I will breathe a big sigh of relief for you. I don't think I'll ever be a minimalist. So keep on watching because I'm going to keep on getting rid of more, but I'm never going to have a minimalist home because I do like my bits and bobs. When you said about the cold weather, that very much reminded me of when we went to America for my aunt's 80th birthday. So this would now be, 14 years ago? And we went to New York and I've never experienced cold like it. It was absolutely bitter. I felt like my eyes, the water in my eyes were going to freeze on both of my eyes. And then it was so cold, if your eye watered, the teardrop on your face would just turn to ice. It was colder than Lapland's. It was freezing. And it was so funny because my aunt lent us hats and gloves and scarves because we didn't come with those. I'm glad she didn't declutter because she had enough for all of us to wear. And so my husband wore my aunt's hat. It's so funny. Gardenia says, I borrowed this from the internet. For some people, clutter can lead to anxiety, stress, and a feeling of being overwhelmed. This is because clutter can create a sense of chaos and disorder, raise stress levels, and make it difficult to focus and concentrate on tasks. That's me, but I know some people are more comfortable being surrounded by things. Good luck in your endeavours. You've accomplished a lot. Lovely. Thank you very much for your comment, and welcome another person from Canada. We've got quite a few people from Canada now. That's really, really good. I don't feel bothered by stuff everywhere. That doesn't bother me. But what does bother me, and what I'm not prepared to tolerate anymore, is having a house where I can't open the door and welcome somebody in. And this is what I keep saying to my husband and daughter. I'm not prepared to live in a house where you feel like if you open the door, they're going to see all the things piled up on the stairs. I know that's real life. Like if I'm in the middle of sorting things and there's things on the stairs, that's real life. But I don't want, if people come round on a Saturday, I don't want us to have a massive, great tidy up on a Friday, which is now, if people are coming round to the weekend, we've not really got that much to do, which is so much better. Right, next comment, Laura Mitchell. I think the premier idea might be messing with your views. I don't know if it's in your control or not, because I get an alert for the new video from you and think, oh good, I'll sit down and watch it right now. Then I see that I can't actually view it for a few hours. So then I get onto something else and don't come back to until a few days later. Sorry, I just wish it was ready for viewing when I get the notification. Oh, that must be very annoying. And you sit down and think, oh, I'll quickly take 30 minutes. Or it's 40 minutes a day. Or I'll just take 40 minutes, sit down and watch this video. And then it's not there. My videos come out Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. That's what I always aim for. Sometimes I don't quite get there, but that's what I aim for. If I don't set them as a premiere, I don't think I get quite so many views. But I welcome anyone else's ideas and views who's more experienced than me with this. Laura Mitchell says, I always buy a carry-on suitcase for a graduation gift, usually for an 18-year-old, symbolically launching as an adult. I love that idea. That's good. Lizzie William Hawthorne says, I fasted for 10 weeks and lost 3 stone. I was kept in line because I was trying to get my sugar levels down and be back to normal after being diagnosed 12 months ago with type 2 diabetes, and it worked 5 months on and I'm doing okay. Feel so much better. My diabetic tummy has disappeared. I go aqua aerobics twice a week and have done for the last 6 years. It's my way of keeping a little bit fit for my age. Teenagers today really don't appreciate gifts like jewellery. Girls were a lot better and easier to buy for. Keep it up, Emma. Yeah, I agree. I did reply asking what your fast involved, but fantastic being able to kind of deal with your health issues like this. Really, really good. And you've seen such a massive improvement. I think once I've finished my fast, this is the last week of my fast. So I've been doing no sweets, chocolates, cakes, biscuits, crisps, cold coffee drinks, anything else that I consider a treat. I've cut out. I fancied a hot chocolate the other day, but I thought, no, that's chocolate, I can't have it. But once I start this, I am going to continue being careful and increase my exercise, because as I've said to you before, I have put weight on over the last few years and I need to get rid of some of it. So you can see I'm back in the kitchen at the moment and decided to clean all the draining rack. My husband washed up last night. He did most of the washing up, but left some saucepans, frying pans, a few other things that we'd cooked that awful salmon. We had the salmon from the freezer, and I was chatting to some of you on Monday night, and my daughter ate a bit of it and she said it doesn't taste quite right. And she didn't know at that point that was the old one. Because I do think if someone knows it's been sitting in the freezer for years, they start looking for something strange about the taste. Then I tried a bit and I thought, I'm not quite sure. And then I tried my husband's, and that was from a different pack, and that also tasted a bit not very nice. So we each probably had about half the piece of salmon each before we decided that we weren't going to eat anymore. So he did quite a lot of the washing up while I was working, but not all of it. And I'm starting to get my little collection of items on the corner there. And then looking back at the video, it looks like my herbs, my coriander herb plant needs to be put in the bin. That's on the way out, isn't it? So I wanted to just clear up this. I started doing this before I started work. I came back from the school run and thought, let me just clear all the washing up, because otherwise what will happen is throughout the day, it will build and build and build. So I managed to kind of clear it so that anything that I add is not going to start taking over the whole of the kitchen side. Barbara Palmore says, hi Emma, I love to see you declutter some glasses from your cabinet. Maybe on the open shelves put some of your books. It is very restful to the eyes to not have so many objects to look at. Maybe just have one shelf in the cabinet and have all your bears so they can be seen. Loved your video today. Thank you very much, Barbara. It's quite interesting. When I went to my sister-in-law's the other day, and I last sat in her lounge quite some time ago, and since I've sat in there, she's got a new sofa. So I would say most of the room, the floor the sofa takes up, and it's like a series of massive great beds. It's really, really big, so you can lay right back. It's very comfortable. But as I was sitting there and she was watching me this video on her phone, I looked at her cabinet and her sort of display area and her shelves, and I realised that she'd bought this brand new furniture, and there was literally like a pumpkin on it and one vase. There was a big drawer at the bottom, but I just thought it's very, very interesting because obviously that felt really minimalist. But she had just bought the things from Next, all looked very nice. But I thought it's interesting to buy a piece of furniture for your lounge, and then literally there's 4 things that you're displaying on it. And there was this big drawer at the bottom, which I'm sure might have been full of things. But I thought I'm not quite sure I'd buy a piece of furniture and not really use it. Interesting. N. Shawnee says, oh my goodness, my entire message just deleted when I tried to correct a word. Oh, that's so annoying when I bet you spent ages writing it. That's really annoying. That's happened to me. Hello again. I'm so happy I could help in some way in your day-to-day cleaning. Your sponge ideas will probably work just fine. What I was mentioning was to physically push the water down the drain to lower the level by using a rag or sponge or plunger or toilet bowl cleaning wands. You increase your surface area and quicken the draining speed. By pushing the water towards the drain, you create a slow siphon. When you first start pushing the water towards the drain, it will look like absolutely nothing is happening, but with a few more swishes you will see the water level start to lessen. I hope this helps clarify. I wish I could post a video. Best wishes, Natasha. Edit. If I have time tomorrow or the next day, I will post a quick video on this account. I've never done that before. First time for everything. So everyone, N. Shawnee, we need to look at the video of how this toilet's cleaning advice. We need to check it out. One more addition, my very unsolicited advice, take your daughter out of school for those 2 weeks and make some of the best memories at the family wedding. School never goes away, but those special times of family and travel are limited. My parents pulled me from school for family events, and I'm ever so grateful. The time spent with my parents are so cherished. I'm brought to tears thinking about them. Having my parents show me the world was the absolute best teacher of life. Other people, ideas. I promise she will catch up just fine with school. Plus, New Zealand is a top country in my 40+ countries I've visited. Wow. I do agree that travelling is so important, and I think it's wonderful to take the opportunity to kind of go to different places for different family events as well. The issue that I have is the date that she's chosen. I personally wouldn't want to go to New Zealand unless I'm going to go for 3 weeks. And just there's no way I could possibly take her out for school for 3 weeks. A whole number of reasons, really. Of course, in England we get fined, but that's a separate reason. I deal with the fine separately, but there's a whole number of other reasons. At a week, I would consider it. 2 weeks, probably not. 3 weeks, definitely not. It's such a long journey, I just wouldn't want to go for 2 weeks. So I think it's such a shame that it wasn't like, for instance, over the Easter holiday or over Christmas. Even if I could just take her out for a few days and then it joined onto a holiday. But unfortunately not. But I do completely agree with you. I have in the past taken her out for school for a family wedding that was in London. A cousin that decided to get married on a Friday. And she has travelled a lot for her young years. At the age of 2, that's the first trip that we took to Italy. So we drove across to Italy when she was 2. So she's been to quite a few different countries. But yeah, the whole thing with taking her out for school, I just couldn't do that amount of time. But I do hear what you're saying, absolutely. Next comment, I wanted to mention about the charities that I've said that I'm going to be giving. So I put on my page that this month, everything that I've got is going to Star Throwers. And next month, for the month of February, everything will be going to a charity called Family Fund that help families who've got disabled children or seriously ill children. And a couple of you made comments about that. So Stacey said that's beautiful, from Stacey in Virginia. Rainey said, I think that's very kind of you, and I hope all your subscribers will take the time to watch as many of your videos as they can. If it helps you, Emma, it helps if you, Emma, could put together more playlists, and I can set my laptop up to play a list. And if I need to get up and do something, I can keep it playing without having to monitor the video, if that makes sense. That's so kind of you. Thank you very, very much. Tracy 4 says, I'll watch some of your older videos to try and help. And Calamity CJ, I can't remember where you're from, Calamity CJ. Perhaps you could remind me. Calamity CJ says, this is wonderful. I love this. I'm catching up with your older videos now. That is quite interesting. Even if you go back a couple of months, for those of you that have been following me a while, I'm sure you'll agree, you can see the changes in the house. And as I said the other day, when I went back and looked at some videos from a year ago, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe the state of my kitchen. It was such a muddle. So hopefully some of you will have seen that I have set up some more playlists. So if you are able to watch, then all the money I'll announce. I was a bit funny, wasn't I, to begin with, talking about how much money was made. And then someone said about, oh, why aren't you transparent? And it wasn't that I was meaning not to be transparent. I just felt like it wasn't something that was talked about. But I'm quite happy. I'll share with you. I think at the moment we're on about £70 for the month. Always runs a few days late. So anything for the month of January, minus taxes, I'll donate. And then I'll post the thank you note so you can see. Karen Davis says, I like the charity choices, and I think it's very kind of you to donate your YouTube money. I watch your videos on my TV, but can't like or comment on my TV. So I open the video again on my iPad, write my comments, and let the video play till the end. I hope that counts as 2 views. I have no idea, but I hope so. I just love your fireplaces with their green tiles. So Karen, thank you very, very much. I love the fact that you watch the video and then you also then want to add a comment, so you open it on your iPad. That is so kind. And yes, that should count as 2 views. It should do. And I'm glad you like my fireplaces. I love them too. They sold the house to me. Sandy says, I enjoyed the video. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. Teresa Davies has added some hearts to the video, which is nice. And Nana Tracy says, Emma, when you decluttered and everything as you want it, if you don't do anything for a week, you won't be back to the start. It'd be so easy to pull it back round again. When I've been poorly, it's helped lots. Thank you for that. Joyce Knight has said that she's from Pennsylvania in the USA. So we've got a few people now following from Pennsylvania. So welcome. I think it's Jocelyn Knight. Welcome. Stacey says, happy, marvellous, magical and motivational Monday. I love the alliteration, Stacey. Blessings. Marvellous video. Thank you for sharing. And then Natalie Elliott, 253, says, hello, Emma. I love your charity choices. I do like the cupboard tidy up. You have a great start on spring cleaning this year. It'll be fun to move out into the garden when the weather warms up. We in Ohio will have to wait until mid to late April to work outdoors. Keep up the great work and take care, Natalie. Thank you very much, Natalie. Now I've got some news. I've got snowdrops in my garden. I was so excited. I saw the first snowdrop about 10 days ago and I was like, wow, the first signs of spring. I was so pleased. So I'm now right at the end of my video. So thank you so much for those of you that have got this far. For those of you that comment, like, watch my videos. Really, really means a lot to me. And welcome to those of you that are new here. We love seeing where you're all from. So thank you for adding that in the comments. Thank you for watching my video and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!